ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः in the food section. I tell you, this is a very popular, this Annamaya section is very popular because one can relate to it extremely well and it is tangible. It is very much objectifiable and so therefore it is something to relate to. And this is what we are seeing here is that in the beginning, there is the what is called the body identification. And because of the strength of this identification, we can't even call it identification at this point. It's an entrenchment, well entrenched identification. And because of this, the person cannot straight away understand, I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That is why this whole section is going to ward off this identification or this entrenchment. It's going to take it from the body to something that is a little less evident because it is subtle to the whole realm of the pranic realm. And what is this pranic realm? The pranic realm means prana, respiration, circulation, all these things which keep on happening in the body without my input. Breathing also happens on its own, as is evidenced when we sleep. And so all this is happening. And so therefore what? So it is this is going to take it to that because the atma the entrenchment, it's like you bring the person slowly, you take them from where they are, and then the person wanting to run a marathon cannot suddenly do 10 kilometers, 10 miles. You can't do. You certainly cannot do that. To first run 1 mile, or you just walk, and you stretch one day, and slowly you prepare yourself for the task at hand. And that is what is this the importance of this discussion of Annamaya Kosha, this body that is brought about by food. Now, the Upanishad is going to imply something else. Is that what it's going to imply is that the food, it's not going to say it overtly, but this is something we have to understand, and that's why the Bhashya helps, and that's why the teaching helps, because the teaching is a live, handling of the pramana. And then in the teaching, how we received it from our guru, that is what is being given, and then you see so many nuances, and it is important to appreciate the fact that when there is this well entrenched identification with the body, that identification has got two components. The first component is purely subjective, purely subjective component. So subjective identification with the food, with the body, with the breath, whatever it is. But right now we are talking of the body. So it's a purely subjective identification. And then there is some kind of a identification which is an objective identification for the purposes of this body to continue in time and eke out or exhaust the karmas for which it took birth. So it is the second kind of identification. We have already seen this. One is called, what is that? Sahaja Tadatmya, the objective identification. Sahaja Tadatmya. And the subjective identification, which is born of delusion, is called Bhrantija Tadatmya. Bhrantija means born of Bhranti, delusion. This we have seen in other contexts. This is, brought out very well in the Panchadashi. What is that? Which chapter is that? Fourth chapter. The world of Jiva and Ishvara. Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti chapter. This particular identification is brought about very well. Now, why does this matter? Because when we talk of identification with the body, if it's just an objective identification for the sake of furthering this body and feeding it and keeping it in good shape, then we are okay. But what has sneaked in is the subjective Bhrantija Tadatmya, born of delusion, born of, in other words, Atma Ajnanam, self-ignorance. So that has also sneaked in. And then if we feel like shrugging our shoulders and saying, so what, let it sneak in. And so what is the problem with that? The problem with that is that identification operates on the basis of two words we saw yesterday, and that's where we are going to take off from today. And what are those two words? Mine, mine, me, mine. These two words. So first it is this Bhrantija Tadatmya. First it expresses itself or is manifest in as the body. It is manifest in the body as the body. Then what happens? It gradually latches on to everything that the jiva considers it to be its own. It migrates. And that's why it is so serious. And that's why where the usefulness, if we are wondering why we are spending so much time, why is the Upanishad so particular about teaching us about this Annamaya and why this Annamaya is important, etc. This is the reason. This is exactly the reason why why this is there. And so this is why we have to take so the Annamaya Kosha, what does it do? The discussion on the Annamaya Kosha does two things. One, we have already seen how it takes the identification and then puts it on to something else. So right now one is told, catch hold of the prana. It's like the person who is in the wheelchair is given a walker. Okay, catch hold of this. No, I'm stuck to this chair. I can't work. I don't have the energy. Part of it is objective. Yes, the person has had an injury and is confined to the wheelchair. But then it has become a habit. Part of it is subjective. The person thinks, I can never walk again. And so the person is put on to the walker. Here, catch hold of the walker. And the walker in the example is Pranamaya. So that is one thing that is happening. And on another level, one is also being taken from the subjective to the objective understanding of the body. This is the beauty of the Annamaya Kosha. Very, very, very wonderful. So from Bhrantija Tadatmya, one is being taken to what is called Sahaja Tadatmya, the objective identification. Even a mosquito identifies with its body. Yeah, definitely. And that is why it bites you when you are not looking. When you are looking, it will just say, "Oh, I'm just humming. I'm in a good mood. I'm not. I have no plans of biting. I'm just hanging out with you. That's all. In your room, right next to your head. But I'm just hanging out. Here we are, two jivas, no problem, no pressure. And then the moment your back is turned, the moment you fall asleep, it bites. Why? Because it knows if it bit in a place where you are watching its movements and then it bit. And then what will happen? You will give it instant moksha with the back of your hand, you will just it'll become chutney, poor thing. So it knows this, and so therefore it is so the body of the mosquito and your own body. What is the difference? If you are a zoologist, you say, "Oh, what is the similarity?" No similarity. It's so totally different. And one is, egg born, and one is a mammal, and this and that. But really speaking, from the standpoint of Vedanta, there is no difference. It is a body occupying space. You are a body occupying space. You have a body occupying space. It is there. You are there, and it eats. You eat. It predates on you, and then. I don't know when you predate on many things, but maybe there is a culture where the mosquitoes are eaten. Who knows? But if not mosquitoes, something else is eaten. And so, like this, from the standpoint of Vedanta, it is a body that is occupying space. You are a body that is occupying space, and that's just the beginning of the similarities. There are many, many more similarities. And the main thing is the sap that which the mosquito eats. And then your, what should I say, your very, what is that word? Gourmet cuisine that you have made or bought and eaten. What's the difference with that? No difference. The tree sap or the algae in the water in the stagnant ponds upon which the mosquitoes feed, unless they are pregnant and then they like your blood. That's all it is. They need some blood meal to be able to lay their eggs. And so the tree sap, algae in the found in the stagnant water. And what is all that? Annam. Oh, that's not annam. That is annam for it. Yeah. Algae is very nutritious, actually. And in fact, it is coming in capsules these days. You buy this and eat it, and it's very nutritious. Green algae, and and all the bacteria somehow is taken away, and then all the vitamins are there, and then it's made into something very hygienic, and then you have this. What is that called? It has a fancy name, spirulina. You put it in the smoothie, in the shake, and everything. Why? In the last life, that mosquito samskara continues. And that's why. So you are also eating. It is also eating. And its body is growing however big the mosquito grows. And some of them are quite big. Like the carriers of this dengue and this all these things, they are quite big. And they have patterns also. And then, first of all, it's hard enough to see them. And then, if you read if you read an article about what the dengue mosquito looks like, it will tell you, oh, it will have these patterns, it will have a piano back, meaning it will have some kind of a white, black piano keys like that on its back. And all these things, if you look at it under a microscope, I suppose. And so its body is also a product of food. Your body is also a product of food. Where is the difference? Just as I quoted the Manisha Panchakam a few classes back, Kim, Annamayat Annamayam. Duri kartum vanchasi. You are, the Chandala, the funeral groundskeeper who encountered, what's his name, Adi Shankara coming out of the bath, river bath. And the student said, "Oh, you haven't yet bathed, you are unclean. Just go, gacha, gacha." And the Chandala happened to be a Vedantin. Be careful because you, you may encounter Vedantins in the most unlikely places. That is the lesson of the story. And the Chandala said, What are you trying to? What are you trying to distance? Gacha, gacha means go, 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 go. First, distance, distance. And then there was no pandemic either. So, no, at that time. And no question of 6 feet, keep 6 feet apart. All that was not there. But he says, Gacha, gacha, far away, far away, far away. He says, What are you trying to distance? Kim annamayat annamayam. Chaitanyat chaitanyam. Duri kartum vanchasi kim. You are desirous of distancing there's only two things where this from this the standpoint of the body. Either you are trying to distance this body from that body, or you are trying to distance this indweller of this body in the form of Chaitanya, and the indweller of that body, which is also in the form of what? Chaitanya. Chaitanyat Chaitanyam or Annamayat Annamayam. This body, which is a product of food, and okay, you may eat some, berries and roots and fruits and all these things. And I may eat things which have 4 legs, 8 legs, 10 legs, etc. I may eat all those things, but it's still food. For me, that is food. So, what is it that you're trying to distance? Are you trying to distance one product of food from another byproduct of food, which is the truth of these bodies? Or are you trying to distance one consciousness from another consciousness? How many consciousnesses are there? Last time we checked, there is only one, non dually one. And what is it that you're trying to distance? And then Adi Shankara, it is said, falls at his feet and said, Chandalostu sadvijostu. Esha Guruhu, Esha Manisha Mamaha, Guruhu. That is Guru. Whether this person, the person standing in front of me, whether he is a funeral groundskeeper or whether he is the Brahmana of the highest order, he is a Guru. This is my Manisha, this is my understanding, this is the refrain of the Manisha Panchakam. Esha Manisha Mama. It comes at the end of every stanza. And so this is exactly where we need to go to objectify the body. And then, we keep hearing this objectify the body, and it becomes kind of, we get into that complacency, and it becomes kind of, a well-worn, what in Hindi we say, ghisa pita. It's like kind of a well-worn kind of a teaching, and then we just, gloss over it. But here, this is something which is very, very important to understand, is that we objectify means we are seeing it, we are seeing the truth of it. Objectify it means we are seeing it objectively with viveka and vairagya as a result of this particular prakriya, talking of annamaya, the talking of the body as a product of food. So then, extrapolating from either the mosquito and me example or from the Chandala and the Dvija, the Adi Shankara example, then what do we have? We understand that every body, not just my body, not just your body, not just the mosquito body, every body is a product of food. This is point number one. And then you say, so what? So what means what? Already then there is a little bit of a space. My body, from the words my body, we can say the body. This body, that body, the body. There is a little bit of space. And that space, in that small little opening, the Upanishad goes in and just basically makes your understanding upside down in a nice way, just shakes up the understanding. Because what is this food? Let's not forget what this food is. What is this food? Oh, Shadhi. And where is this? What is the cause of this food? Oh, Shadhi. Then Oshadhibhyaha annam. So where did the plants, from the plants has come the food. Where did the plants come from? Prithivya Oshadhayaha, from the earth. Okay. And then what? Then where did the earth come from? The earth came from water. Adbhyaha Prithivi. And then where did the water come from? Water came from fire. And Adbhyaha Prithivi. And then before that, from the fire came the water. And then what? Where did the fire come from? What is the cause of the fire? What is the truth of the fire? Where is this fire coming from? The fire is coming from air, from the Vayu. And then where did this Vayu come from? Akashat, space. Where did the space come from? Huh? This is not the time to get spaced out. Where did the space come from?
Atma.
What does the Upanishad say? Huh?
Maya.
Huh?
Maya.
Man.
I just want to know what the Upanishad says,
Atman.
not highfalutin Vedanta. Just read the text.
Tattva Maya.
Upanishad does
Ishvara.
not say Maya.
Ishvara.
Upanishad does not say Ishvara.
Atma.
Atma.
Ah, finally. Abba. Okay. Atma. The Atma. Atma means you. Atma means what? Satchidanandam Brahma. That Brahman is converted to Atma because it is Brahmatma. There is only one Atma, and which happens to be Brahman, which is in the form of Brahman. From that, all these series of five elements, in their particular beautiful order, they have all come. So then, what is the space? Space is Akasha is Brahmatma. Brahman in the form of Akasha. Akasha, whose Atma is Brahman. Akasha is whose truth, whose very being, whose very presence is Brahman. Akasha is Brahman. Vayu, which has come from Akasha, is Brahman. Now we are going the other way. Then Vayu is Brahman. Then what came from, from the Vayu, you have Agni. Agni is Brahmatma, because it has inherited the Brahma Vamshyam. It has inherited that lineage. Just like when you look at some bones are found, and then they can say, oh, this is a Neanderthal family that was living 55,000 years ago. And this was a Neanderthal family. They have the same genetics. That's how from the genes. So the genes have inhered just like that in the lineages. Here, everybody belongs to Brahma lineage, and then the lineage of Brahman means what? Brahma Vamshyam. The Bhashyakara had said that earlier. And so that that presence of Brahmatma inheres in everything. It inheres everything. So then from Vayu, Agni is Brahmatma. Then Prithvi is Brahmatma. No, not Prithvi. What did I forget? Water. Water is Brahmatma. Prithvi is Brahmatma. And then Shadhi. Plants also what? Brahmatma. Plants, are Brahmatma. And then what? After plants, what comes? This body. Food comes. Then food is again Brahmatma. And then the body comes. Body is what? Huh?
Brahma.
What is body?
Brahman.
Brahmatma. I'm giving the answer and still it is taking so long. And that's because it is unfamiliar to think of the body this way. At the most, I can say that the body is a product of idlis and dosas that I have been eating. Okay, no problem. I can conceptualize that. But to say that the body is Brahmatma, takes some practice because of the habitual orientation of looking at this body as a separate entity in space. That is where all these things, that is where all the problems come from. The problems of alienation, the problem of all these things come from that only. And so this is the thing. And then so therefore this is all Brahmatma alone. Body is Brahmatma, meaning body is Brahman. This is what the beauty of this Annamaya Kosha, and the importance of this Annamaya Kosha is just to demonstrate that the body is Brahman. Not just, I mean, just means I don't mean to minimalize it. It's actually very, 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 very huge, huge implications. Body is Brahmatma means what? Body is Brahman. Body is Brahman. Body is Bhagavan. Body is, then you can bring in your Ishvara, all these things. Body is Bhagavan. Body is Ishvara. Ishvara is not the body. Ishvara is much more than the body, but body is Ishvara. Body is non-separate from Ishvara. And this is what? And the body is non-separate from Annam. Annam is Brahmatma. Body is Brahmatma. And Annam becomes the Karanam of this body. And so, relatively speaking, in this small little tunnel vision that one has, then what is there? The small little world of me and food, food and me. Food is Bhagavan. And from Bhagavan, this body has come, which is again Brahmatma. Food is the cause of this body. Food from the food, the body comes. By the food, the body is sustained. And then unto the food, the body goes back. Food claims the body. How? Well, that's how it is. You eat food for the first 40 years or so of your life. Then the food begins to eat you. That's why you say, I can't have gluten. Okay. Then what else? I can't have sugar. I can't have caffeine. I can't have grains. And what else? I can't have anything. I'm a fresharian. This is what in the end. In the end, all that you do is you just have to fast. There is no other recourse. And so so this is the thing. That means what? The food is eating into you. The food is making holes in the stomach, and it is called ulcer. And the food is making, all kinds of gastric reflux. When the food is making you avoid these things because it is making you tired, it has become a toxin. That is when the food is, reeling this body in. And and then after a while, no matter what you avoid, and you just keep eating organic, organic, and then you say, oh, I'm just going to beat Lord Yama. How are you going to beat Lord Yama? I'm going to eat everything organic right from the start to finish. It's going to be an organic life. Let's see what happens. Nothing will happen. One will have an organic death. That's all. Lord Yama will respect your choices. That's all it is. And that's all it is. Nothing else will happen. And so, and the implications of seeing food as Bhagavan and this body, which is a product of food, also as Bhagavan, is tremendous. Because here is where there can be a wonderful interruption to all the body shaming, body consciousness, self consciousness, because the self is considered to be the body. I don't like my nose, says one. I don't like my toes. I don't like how to do this. I don't like this. I don't like my smile. One person said this. and refused to laugh at any of Pujya Swamiji's jokes. Sat in the front row, and then Pujya Swamiji was determined to make her laugh and kept on saying more and more jokes. And we were all wondering, why are the classes getting funnier and funnier? What is happening over here? But Swamiji had a small little plan he had with her. And of course, he didn't tell her that. But then he just, with himself, he was playing and he was doing a little leela, laughter leela. And then so finally, she couldn't handle it. She just laughed. Then Swamiji asked her, why didn't you laugh until today? Oh, I'm very conscious of my smile. I don't have good teeth. I don't have good jaws. I don't have this. I don't have that, all kinds of things. So the body consciousness and the not liking the body, critique of the body, and then that is one part of the problems. I don't like this, I don't like that in my body. And then the second problem is trying to keep the body going and making it infinite. All that is taken away when you say that this body is a gift of the food eaten by the ancestors and myself also. And then this body is Bhagavan because the food has come from the earth, and earth is Bhagavan, and food is also Bhagavan. You see here something in the Shastra helps a lot. We have encountered this in Tattva Bodha. In the Shastra, it helps a lot. And what is this? The words Bhuta. Bhuta means 5 elements. So we have 5 elements as Brahmatma. You know what is that? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. We have the 5 elements in front of in the form of Brahmatma. No problem. Then, when we say Prithivyam Oshadhayah, we are no longer talking of bhutas. What are we talking about? Bhautikas. Bhutebhyah jatani bhautikani. That which is born of the bhutas, bhautika. This is a very nice way to, talk about it. And then then you see that there's a fundamental difference between bhuta and bhautika. Bhautika is those that are born of the elements. In English, we call them elementals. So why should we bother about this? Because the elements is Bhagavan. Elements are a manifestation of Bhagavan, and the elementals are also the incidentals, that which has come out of the elements, also therefore manifestation of Bhagavan. Body is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not the body. Like the pot is clay, but the clay is not pot. Clay is much more than the pot. So this is the wonderful thing. This is the first thing that is accomplished by a close study of the Annamaya section. Very, very important. Because all these self-shaming, body shaming, all these things. And then so that Brahmatma is Akasha, and that Brahmatma Akasha again then becomes Vayu, and then Brahmatma Akasha Vayu, then Brahmatma Akasha Vayu Agni, Brahmatma Akasha Vayu Agni Prithvi, Apaha Prithvi, etc. And then all this, Annat Purushaha, that's why from the food the human being has come. And then this is why it's very, very important. And so now the world that you have drawn, starting with your body as a separate cocoon from the external world, those lines have been obfuscated. Anything that eats the food has the body. You eat food, therefore you have a body. So the food becomes Bhagavan. Everything is a product of Bhagavan, relatively speaking. And then so the person who thought I am as good as the body has to really rethink this. Why? Because the body is not body is called Atma. What kind of Atma? Panchabhutatmaka Atma. The Atma that is the product of these 5 elements, the Atma that is Brahmatma in the form of the 5 elements, which is what? Ishvara as Virat, Atma. Beautifully. The word Virat, when you what is that? When you do the Vyutpatti, it is Vividham Rajate Virat. It is present, it shines in many forms, and to this we have to add without undergoing any change whatsoever. Vividham Rajate Virat. Virat is the name for Bhagavan given in the Mandukya Upanishad. This is Virat. So nice. And so then this Atma is what? This Deha, this Atma in the form of the body is a gift from Virat. So it's connected. Everything is Virat. And then from the standpoint of the body, it is Vyashti, it's an individual manifestation. From the standpoint of the whole, it is the total manifestation. From the standpoint of the whole, it's the Karana. From the standpoint of the body, it is Karya. Annatmakam Virat. Virat in the form of Annam. And then that Annam is not just for you, it's for every single body. And that's what is going to be said in the next section, which is very, very beautiful. And so they out of Annam they come, out of Annam they are, by Annam they are nourished, and then unto that Annam they go. Unto that Annam they go. And what is this Virat? Virat is nothing but Brahman plus Maya. Virat is Ishvara, that Purusha. And that from that Virat Purusha you are born. And that itself is wonderful for self-esteem, even if you don't know any other Vedanta. Because Virat Atma, huge, Bhagavan. I am from Bhagavan. Bhagavan in the form of what? Bhautikas, food, etc. I am there. That is wonderful. That's why, even if somebody knows, if you know somebody, see, like then when this President Biden was elected, then all these people called Biden in India, there is a big group of Christian people called Biden. They all said we are related to President Biden. They maybe we don't know, but there is a group there. They live in Pune. They live in the city Pune. And then they all said that we are related, we are Protestant Christians, and then we are related, not, they are Catholics, and then they are related to President Biden. They're all called Biden. This one Biden, that one Biden, everything. And then they had some very elaborate family trees. And then one of the great grand uncle of the current President Biden came to India as a nautical marine officer and then settled there and married a local lady, and then that is what was the cause of this extended Biden family, which is still there. So whether it is correct or not, whether it is corroborated or not, whether it is real or not, there is great joy these Bidens have in believing, in thinking that they are related to the president. And the president did not say, "Oh, these are my relatives." He did not, make any comment. He just said, "Oh, is that so?" That's all. So it was just this. It is basically this one-sided affair. And why? Because it is kind of wonderful to be connected to something larger than oneself. Everybody wants that. Oh, I'm related to the US president. Really? How? Well, his great great grand uncle came and all these things. Lot of, family trees. Well, there are some missing links also, but somehow they establish something. And this is what it is. Everybody practices this. Whether it's real or not is not the issue, but everybody practices name dropping. I too have people in high places. I have, my uncle's father's cousins, cousins in-laws friend is the owner of Amazon. Like that, you can say. And then somehow, even though it's such a remote connection, the one always wants to be part of something bigger. And then, in lieu of this teaching, Without this teaching, then what is it that you choose to align yourself with? You just, you don't have anything. You just choose the some useless person who is bigger, or some rich person, or some place. But that loneliness, that alienation, that isolation does not go. Here, relatively, it goes, which is what leads the Upanishad later, which is exactly what will lead the Upanishad later to say, na bibheti kadachaneti. The person who has this kind of identification, not with the body, but with the body as Brahman, the body as Bhagavan. What does the person do? The person is not afraid anymore. The fear has been put down. The armament of fear, one has been armed to the teeth, to the hilt, because of the insecurity. The insecurity brings out a certain defensive mechanism, and all that is put down. Put down. And why? Because there is a sense of connection, A, and B, there is a sense of great safety. Because I am in Bhagavan. And here the food is Bhagavan. So when I'm surrounded by food, I'm very happy. That's why. Why? Because the food is Bhagavan. Food is Bhagavan. Annanindiyat. The next chapter is going to tell us. Never diss food. Never disrespect food. Don't throw away food. Annam bahu kurvita. Annam nanindya tad vratam. Vratam means this is a committed way of life. Do not disrespect food. Do not throw away the food because you didn't like it. Do not throw that away. Eat it, or feed it to other animals, whatever you want to do. But do not throw away food. It is Bhagavan. And then in the again in the third Valli, Bhrigu Valli, it's going to be said. Yaya kaya cha vidhaya annam bahu kurvita. Keep increasing the food. By some means or the other. Let there be an increase of food. Don't take food for granted. It is Bhagavan. It's a manifestation of Bhagavan. And so there, now, you have something big to align yourself with. You're not left with this sad, mad body with which you don't, with which you have a iffy relationship. No. Now you have a relationship. You're celebrating your relationship because you belong to Brahman, who is huge, who is Virat in the form of Virat. It's not some, you're not, you're Brahma Vamshya. You can happily say that I belong to the Brahma Vamshoham. I belong to the lineage that is Brahman. This itself becomes a meditation. Brahmopasana, it is an upasana. It becomes a prayer. It becomes a meditation. And what kind of an upasana? We had talked about two upasanas before we entered this section, and one is called Ahangraha Upasana, where the I is included in the upasana, and the other one is a simple superimposition of one thing over another thing, like Saligrame Vishnum Dhyayet, and Utkrishta Vastuni Nikrishta Vastu Sthapya Adhyasya Smaret or Bhajet or Dhyayet. This is what it is. So, Utkrishta Vastuni, in Nikrishta Vastuni, Utkrishta Vastu Sthapya Adhyasya. So, in something that is lowly, something that is very, very big is, as it were, superimposed, and then that becomes an object of meditation. Like Saligrama is seen as Vishnu because that particular stone, formed in the Himalayas has the markings, the insignia of Vishnu in the form of the chakra and the conch shell. The conch shell and the wheel. And then on that you superimpose Mahavishnu, who is all pervasive, who is everywhere. But still it is allowed, and this is called Sampatti Upasana. But then another kind of Upasana is Ahangraha Upasana, where you put yourself there. You are included in this Upasana. And here, this kind of a Brahmopasana, I belong to the lineage of Brahman. I am Brahma Vamshya. I am, that you can, when you contemplate on that, it becomes a kind of a Ahangraha Upasana. And then, now we have this is a different way of, slightly different way of looking at the whole thing. Very, very exciting. So the Atma, for the sake of the understanding, is, as it were, divided into three. Three, even one Atma, I'm not understanding. And now you're bringing three into the picture. Not even two, but three. Yeah. But this is just it's just a question of, 6 of one and half a dozen of another. The nomenclature is different. And sometimes the Shastra changes the names, etc., just so that one doesn't take it for granted. And one, sometimes with a different name, there is a deeper understanding. Like when, one example is like when Narada goes to Sanat Kumara for instruction in the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. And then Narada says, I want to know. I want to know that which makes people cross sorrow. People like yourself cross sorrow because of which knowledge? Please teach me that. And then Sanat Kumara says, what you're missing, my dear fellow, is Bhuma. What is this Bhuma? No, he wakes up because he had only heard of Brahman and Atma. Being well versed in the Vedas, in all 4 Vedas, he was a Chaturvedi. He knew this, he knew that, he knew everything. He knew all the sub-Vedas, Upa-Vedas. He knew the Vedangas, the limbs, the parts connected to the Veda, he knew. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarna, Nirukta, Jyotisha, Chandas, all this he knew. All that he knew. And then he had never encountered Bhuma. Is it Bhuma? What's Bhuma? What is that? Bhuman. And this is just for that. It's not just for an empty shock value, but it is to understand this properly. Because sometimes when one kind of a modality doesn't work, another kind of a modality works, because one is not jaded by keeping on listening to A for Atma, B for Brahman, C for Chit, D for Dharma. You're sick of it. Same. The mind is very restless, and the mind wants something new all the time. So here is a new way of looking at the Atma from 3 standpoints. It's not 3 Atmas. It's not three Atmas. It is the same Atma from 3 different standpoints. What is that? So the first one we discuss is what is called Gaunatma. Gauna Atma means Gunataha, means based on certain attributes. Gaunatma means what? Your body. Gaunatma. The subjective aspect of that identification is called Gaunatma. And what else is there? All the places where your heart is lost. Oh, but the heart is not lost. It is beating in the chest cavity. We are not talking of that heart. We are talking of the emotional heart that is given away to various things, various people, various situations, various agenda. That is what it is. So therefore, where is this emotional heart? Putra, Dara, Grihadishu. Putra, Dara, Grihadishu. Putra means children. Dara, spouse. Griha, house, Adishu, other things, friends and garden and so many things. And so this is what it is. So wherever the heart is given away, and that is what it is, the I-ness is transferred to those objects. You go to the shop and buy something wonderful. First it is mine, then it becomes me. Even the house. In the beginning, it is my house, and then later on, what? Me house. That's why if you go to somebody's house and criticize their house, they get angry. The house doesn't get angry. They get angry. They say, what is this? Why are you doing this to me? This is me. And so that's why, and the dog, you can't criticize the dog. And then, they, even in fact, the owners of all the ugly dogs were very upset at the Westminster Dog Show, where all these beauties are strutted around and each one not a hair out of place, well groomed, shining to the hilt. It's all for the sake of the owners. Poor dog just goes around in 2, 3 circles and stands and gives its paw. When you say give shake hand, it'll shake your hand. That's all it'll do. Poor dogs don't know anything. It's all for the owner. The whole charade is for the owner. And so the owner is proud. The dog got a ribbon. That man will not even let the dog touch the ribbon or even sniff the ribbon, because the dog may assimilate the ribbon. The ribbon is with the owner. The dog has done all the work. So naturally, not only the ribbon is with the owner, the identification is with the dog is with the owner. So the ugly dog people, they started an alternate show, Ugly Dog Show. And the ugliest pooch every year gets crowned. And some of them don't have teeth, some of them have misaligned jaws. One ear is like that, the other ear is like this. You poor thing, what can Bhagavan made? And so they even give out the ugly dog prize. All this is why? Because I am as good as the dog. If the dog is okay, I am okay. If the dog is sick, I too get sick. And so this is what is called Gaunatma. Atma, from the standpoint of wherever the Ragadveshas have taken this identification, that those places where that's where the Atma gets transferred, giving rise to the adage Putre nashte aham nashtah, Putre pushte aham pushtah. This is how the transference is. If the child is okay, I'm okay. If the child is not okay, I'm not okay. If the child is happy, I'm happy. If the child is sad, I'm sad. So the putra's lot becomes your lot. And putra means not just son, it can be anybody. It can be a dog also. And so, like this, where there is an emotional transference, and the things that are important to one, without which the life becomes meaningless or empty, like a job you identify with, a profession, a calling, a business, a person, your own money, your house. And in the house also there are so many things. People buy all these things. Somebody's house I went, and they had these what are they called? I forgot what they are called, but some dolls made of China, I suppose. And so they said, would you like to hold it? I said, not particularly. I'm seeing it. I mean, I just thought it's just a doll. What's the big deal? And somebody whispered, no, it's a great privilege that they are letting you hold it. I said, really? What's the big deal? No, each one is $2,000. I said, what for? And no, it is going to become very it's an investment. And I said, now there's all the more reason not to hold it, because especially because it is $2,000, I don't want to hold it, because what if I let it slip or something? Finished, gone. So then that's why the whole time, the showcase became the showcase in which these dolls were, I suppose, exhibited. That became the topic of conversation for a very, very long time. And then, the Pujya Swamiji I had gone with, and they asked Pujya Swamiji also, do you want to hold it? They asked him first. He said, not at all. No, I don't want to hold it. And so we didn't hold it. We just admired whatever it was there to admire. We said it's very nice from far. But that's how it is. The heart is just gone, and the heart is sitting in the showcase, because that's where the identification is. They're not able to talk about anything else. And then the carpet has to be folded up and rolled up and kept aside before the Swami comes in. Why? Because at 11 o'clock the sun comes and the carpet may be faded. But the Swami is waiting to be let in. No, let the Swami wait. We will roll up the carpet. The heart is rolled up in the carpet. Heart is in the carpet. That's what it is. So it's this is what is Gauna Atma. So it is the heart is in the antiques. The heart is in some profession. The heart is in some notions. And that's what it is. Antiques means it's another problem. Your whole house becomes a museum. Can't, can't sit in the chair. Why? Because it may be an antique. And can't cook because the vessel is an antique, copper antique. Like this, you just drive yourself crazy. Can't even live, in this thing. And so, and when this Gauna Atma, when this emotional heart, and we are not talking of the pumping heart because that's there where it belongs. When the emotional heart is distributed all over the place, you know what happens? There is sorrow. Why is there sorrow? Because people are sitting on it, some people are walking all over it, some people are wiping their feet on it, some people are making that emotional heart into a doormat. That is why there is sorrow, there is confusion, there is fear. And so, what do you need to do? You need to study Taittiriya Upanishad and summon the Gaunatma from all these various frittered, wherever it has gone. Bring it back, call it back. Why? Because it is now Brahmatma. It is not Gaunatma anymore. It is Brahmatma. So then, in the light of this knowledge, very slowly it comes back. So you summon the heart back from the carpet, from the chair, from the flower pot, from the business, from the profession, from the calling, from the spouse, from the house, from the child, and this is what it is. And then what? Then at least you are no longer in the subjective realm. The Upanishad is yet to work on you fully. The Upanishad is just done a small job by making this Gaunatma into Mithya-bhuta Atma. That is the second variety. Atma from the standpoint of the objective in the what is its name? In the realm of the empirical. Mithyatma, what is that? Body. So, from the heart being given to various people, places, things, situations, circumstances, then what do? You summon it back and then you say, okay, dehoham, I am as good as the body. That's at least better. Why? Because you're not the only one saying it, everybody is saying it. We are from garden variety neuroses, we have now come back, we have garden variety, sorry, psychosis, we have come to garden variety neurosis, which is easier to treat, we're much easier to treat. And so this is what it is. And so then, you bring it back, and then deha eva atma. So the gaunatma now becomes dehatma. What is this dehatma? Mithya bhuta atma. Deha is, Atma is not the Deha. Deha is Atma. Atma is not the Deha. That's why it is partially true. Mithya Bhuta Atma, on the empirical level, Deha is Atma. Deha is Brahman. Body is Brahman. Body is Bhagavan. So then, when you say I'm as good as the body, what are you saying? You're saying I'm as good as Bhagavan. That is, and so from there, from this Dehatma, you go to what? Mukhyatma, the third one. Mukhyatma means the only Atma that there is, Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That's why Brahma Puchham Pratishtha. That Brahman is the Puchha in this bird imagery in the last kosha, in the last discussion, which is Anandamaya kosha. So then, this mithya is there because the body is Atma, but then all you have to do is see the body as Brahmatma, as Bhagavan, food as Bhagavan, and this as product of Bhagavan, whatever you want, Karya of Bhagavan. So that I sense, which extends up to the body, extends to all other things. This is Gaunatma, Gunataha. Because really speaking, nobody takes the carpet or the house to be themselves. But then, when the house develops a crack or the carpet fades, there is a sorrow. That is what it is. So it is. This is all, subjective atma, gaunatma. Putradishu gaunatma, dehadishu mithyatma. But then, when you say deha is atma, there is a ring of truth there. Atma is not deha. Deha is Atma. Body is Atma. Atma is not the body. So therefore, you're at least in the empirical level. So it is Mithyatma, Dehatma. Then after that, when you understand the I as Sarvasya Adhishthana Bhuta Atma, that which is the truth, which is the Adhara of the whole Jagat, which is the Adhishthana of the whole Jagat, whole universe, then this Adhishthana Bhuta Atma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that is alone Brahman, and that Brahman you are. That's why it said Asmin Eva Sarvam Pratitishthati. And because that is what is pratishtha, anaya, that we saw that yesterday, something like that. Anaya eva pratishtha. And so therefore, by this alone, everything is Brahman, because of which everything is and has got existence, and that is what it is. And so the process in these 5 locuses or loci of error is withdrawing from the Gaunatma, which we discussed, to the Mithyatma. That first step number 1. That itself is a huge thing. Why? Because even if you say Mithya, Mithya is not away from Satyam. Body is never away from Bhagavan. In fact, body is a manifestation of Bhagavan. Even at this level, it's a huge blessing because you are looking at upon the body as Virat Rupa. Virat Aham Asmi. Beautiful. I am Virat. I am non-separate from this Virat Atmakam. Karana Bhutam. This Sharira. Virat Atmakam. This Shariram. This is Karana Bhutam. I am wonderful. I am Virat. This is wonderful. This is the Ahangraha Upasana. It becomes a prayer. It becomes a contemplation. And from the Vyashti, the individual, to the Samashti, is very, very beautiful. And then the next is this, from this Mithyatma, Dehatma, you go to, what is that? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That comes later. First, we get to the level of objectivity. Because otherwise what happens is that we are always, ensconced in a subjective realm. And from the body, the I migrates. The I-ness is first ensconced in the body, and then from the body, the I-ness migrates into everything else. And that is where we have to draw it back because of these teachings. The teachings intended to draw this back and come to the cause of this body, which is what? Food. And the food is Brahman, so the body is also Brahman. If food is Brahman, how can the body which is come from food not be Brahman? Not possible. So the food is Brahman, and body which has come out of food is also Brahman. How? In the form of the manifest Bhagavan, Virat. And so this Virat only, therefore, this is the, so that's why this Bhagavan is Vividham Rajate. All bodies are born, all bodies are Bhagavan. It's just wonderful. And so this is this is what we have to, this is how to make the most out of this particular section. How to get the most out of this particular section is to keep this in mind. Okay, so then we had the Bhashya we had studied, tat tasmin eva arthe pranam, what is that? We had we had studied this Purusha Vidhaha. Let's see. That Musha Nishikta, yeah, here it is, number 43. Musha Nishikta Pratimavat Purusha Vidhaha means Purushakara. And so here, very, very nice. This is where we stopped at the Bhashya. Very nice analogy to understand that this is not the final be all and end all of the teaching. One can stay here. Okay, if you really want to stay here and say, okay, I am Bhagavan in the form of the food, and then I'm a product of the body is the product of the food, and I'm as good as the body, it's okay, but then I am Virat, I'm a manifestation of Virat. If you want to stay there doing this upasana, it's okay. It's okay means, it is permitted, because what else will you do? Because you yourself are saying, I don't want to go beyond this. It's okay. Maybe better luck next time, next life perhaps, you can do this. And since you're doing this prayer, Virat Upasana, in the form of food as Bhagavan, then you will get the appropriate phalam. Meaning what? You will be surrounded by food, and that's a very nice section. We'll be studying that. You will have lots of wonderful food around you. Only thing is, because of some other karma, you can't eat anything, but you'll be surrounded by food. This is the blessing of this particular upasana. But you're not supposed to stay there, because the upasana is what is called what is that called, an accidental this is a secondary kind of a emphasis. There is no emphasis on the upasana itself. It is just mentioned there because the word Bhagavan has come in and the word Virat has come in. And so whenever you are looking at Virat, like right now what we have done for the last hour is Brahmopasana in the form of Virat Upasana. That's what we have done in this class. By acknowledging food as Brahman and Bhagavan and body as Bhagavan, this is a form of Virat Upasana, Ahangraha Upasana. We have done this. And that's why the Upanishad is also doing this, because it is a fact. Whenever you discuss the body as Brahman, it is already a prayer, an upasana, a mental prayer. And so that's why it is mentioned. The purport of the Upanishad, the commitment of the Upanishad is elsewhere totally. It is not there to keep on, giving you one upasana after another to do. No, it is not for that purpose at all. That is not the purport of the Upanishad. That is not the Tatparya. What is the Tatparya? Mahavakya is the Tatparya. You are Brahman. Oh, here also the body is made up of food, and food is a manifestation of Brahman. No, all that we can let go of, and you can straight away see yourself as Brahman, not with all this intermediary of food, etc. That is the purport. But then the upasanas will come, because whenever we discuss something as Bhagavan, it itself becomes a prayer. And so that is the secondary thing. And here what happens, we can look upon this prayer as a way. What is the way? As a way to cleanse the heart of all kinds of difficulties, raga, dveshas, kama, krodha, difficult emotions. So the upasana can be used in each locus of error. The upasana can be used to be free of that error. The point is not to stick to the upasana, to be free of that error. And so so that is the whole idea. And then with that we can just see what here is talked about. So then, because then we are going to be taken to the next level, which is prana. Prana as Atma. Prana, of course, is Atma. Atma. Atma is not prana. Again, the same thing. But then here, why prana? Because, as I said, the person in the wheelchair who has overcome the injury, more or less, will have some difficulty walking, but then doesn't believe that she or he can walk. Is stuck to the wheelchair emotionally. So then the wheelchair has become an emotional dependency as much as a physical dependency. And so the person is told, okay, doesn't matter. I know you can walk, but since you are doubting the fact that you can even stand up, here, why don't you hold on to this walker? And so the walker here is pranamaya. Pranamaya becomes, then you say, oh, okay, now I'm stuck to the walker. All right, here, take a cane. Take a cane, take my hand, next. Okay, hold on to the walls, like this. So then after that, you are free. So like this, slowly, the dependency is made less. And how is the dependency made less? This is a very interesting way. You take something that is more pervasive than the one that is in which one is stuck. So the body is, of course, pervasive. The body is there, and then it will, the I-ness pervades the body, etc. And there is a certain kind of a pervasiveness. I am so many feet tall, I am so many kilos in weight, and I pervade space in this particular manner. But then the body is small, pervasive compared to the prana, which pervades the body. Yeah, the subtle pervades the gross. So, just like how we went from the subtle to the gross, in the order of the five, listing the five elements, now we are going from the gross body back to the subtle. Here it's not about elements, but just from the standpoint of the sukshma sharira. That is what it is, all the way up to the karana sharira in the form of vijnanamaya and anandamaya we will go. So the sthula is there, the body, the gross is there, but the subtle body pervades the gross body. And to show that that is how it is, that is how the arrangement is, no other way. And so that is why Anyantara Atma Pranamaya, and explaining that we have a wonderful, what is that called? Musha Nishikta Pratimavat. So the pratima here, the idol here, is that which is which is in right now in the form of dhruta tamradivat, like the form of a molten copper, etc., which is poured into a crucible, into a mold. So when it is poured into a mold, then that liquid, what is that, metal, pervades the entire mold, just like prana pervades the whole body. And then prana is there in the form of vayu. It's both outside and inside, whereas the body is just occupying space, just a particular finite space. Prana, compared to the body, is more infinite, less finite. That is a better way to put it, is less finite than the body. So that which is, it is more pervasive, and so that pervades this body. So even though you are in the example, one was told that the patient was told, okay, get up from the wheelchair and hold on to the walker. But in reality, in the example, the walker includes the wheelchair in this example. In this example, the walker is not separate from the wheelchair. The walker includes the wheelchair. Wheelchair does not include the walker. That's how it is. If you can understand that. So Musha Nishikta Pratimavat Naswatah Eva Evam Purvasya Purvasya Purusha Vidhatam Anu Uttarottara Purusha Vidhaha Bhavati. Purvah Purvascha Uttarottarena Purnaha. So he explains that this is something you will see in all the five mayas. So you will see in all the five loci of error, places where the error is committed. So then, evam, in this manner, purvasya, that which is, which went before, and purusha vidhata means this purushakara, this particular, purusha vidha means purushakara, the particular form of this purusha. Anu means it is in keeping with that which is going to come later, and it is included. So Annamaya is included in Pranamaya. Annamaya and Pranamaya are included in what? Manomaya. That's what he's trying to say. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya are included in Vijnanamaya, and Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya are included in Anandamaya. That is exactly what he's trying to say. Purvah Purvascha Uttarottarena Purnaha. Each one pervades the other one. Each one is less gross than the other one. Each successive locus of error is less objectifiable, more pervasive, more subtle than the previous one. And this is how the order is. Like we saw yesterday, like a set of nesting dolls. Each one is inside the other. So more we'll see next time. Next week I'm traveling, so this week we will have classes up to Shatashloki, no problem, up to Tuesday, and after that there will not be any other classes for the rest of the week. So next Saturday, Sunday, please take off, and then Next week we will not have what is that called? We will not have Gita Bhashya. This week we will have Gita Bhashya and Shatashloki. Next week, no Taittiriya, no Gita Bhashya, no Shatashloki. Okay. Yeah. So that is that. That is that. I just wanted to make that announcement. I'll put that also on the. I'll make a point to put it on the website as well. All right. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ थैंक यू ऑल द बेस्ट ॐ
Thank you so much.